February 13th, 2017. A cold Monday afternoon in the small town of Delphi, Indiana. Two teenage girls, Abigail Williams and Liberty German, set out on a walk along the old Monon High Bridge. It's a trail locals know well. Quiet, peaceful, a place families visit without a second thought. They weren't running away. They weren't sneaking around. They were just two kids enjoying a day off school and documenting it the way teenagers do, with photos, smiles, and quick videos sent to friends. None of them knew those images would become the last trace of the girls alive, and that the bridge would soon be known across the world as the place where innocence ended. At 2:07 p.m., Liberty posts a picture of Abby, standing at the edge of the massive, weathered railway bridge. It's over 60 feet above a creek. The wind is sharp. The rails tremble beneath every footstep. The girls laugh. They look fearless. They walk across the old iron tracks as if it's nothing. It's a moment every parent recognizes. Kids exploring, trusting the world around them. But at some point on that bridge, a man begins walking toward them. A man they didn't know. A man who would forever become known simply as Bridge Guy. Police still don't know exactly when the girls first noticed him. Maybe he was behind them the whole time. Maybe he came from the far side, emerging from the trees. Maybe he watched them first, waited, and chose the moment. What we do know is this. Liberty German, just 14 years old, sensed danger. She lifted her phone, hit record, and captured the only known video of her own killer. The footage is shaky. The man is wearing jeans, a brown jacket, a navy hoodie, hands in pockets, head down, walking with a slow, deliberate stride, not running, not hiding, just approaching. He looks almost ordinary, the kind of person you wouldn't notice twice in a grocery store. And yet, what happens next has haunted America for years. From the phone's audio, investigators recovered a short sentence, barely 3 words. A man's voice, low and steady, speaking with complete control, down the hill. It wasn't shouted, it wasn't panicked, it was a command, calm, confident, as if he'd done this before. Those 3 words echoed across news stations, talk shows, and podcasts. People replayed the audio millions of times, looking for a clue in the tone, the accent, the rhythm. Everyone became an armchair investigator. But while the world listened, the girls were forced down a path that no child should ever walk. When the girls failed to show up at the agreed pickup point, families went into action immediately. This wasn't the kind of town where people disappear. Delphi is a place where neighbors wave on porches, where kids ride bikes freely. By evening, dozens of volunteers were searching the trails. Police, fire departments, friends, strangers, everyone came. Flashlights cut through the dark as the cold settled in. But the woods were silent, too silent. Searchers found footprints, disturbed earth, but not the girls. The next morning, February 14th, Valentine's Day, everything changed. A volunteer discovered 2 bodies hidden in the woods just off the creek. It was Abby and Libby, and the case shifted instantly from a missing person search to a murder investigation unlike anything the town had seen. Investigators quickly made a stunning discovery. Liberty German's phone had survived. Inside it, photos, video, and audio that would become the heart of the case. No one had ever seen anything like it in modern American crime. A teenage girl, moments before death, had the courage and clarity to record the man who killed her. The police released only a fraction of what she captured. A still frame, a few seconds of walking footage, and the voice clip. Why? They've never said publicly. What else is on that phone? What happened after that recording? Only a handful of people know, and they've kept it locked away for years. Delphi became a crime scene that stretched across woods, bridges, trails, and endless rumors. FBI trucks lined the roads. Helicopters searched the treetops. Bloodhounds ran the banks of the creek. Tip lines were flooded. Tens of thousands of calls. People swore they recognized the voice, the walk, the clothes. Police released a suspect sketch in 2017. A middle-aged man with a goatee and a cap. 2 years later, they released a second sketch. Younger, clean-shaven, almost boyish, 2 sketches. 2 very different faces. 1 killer? Or 2? Nobody had answers. Delphi changed overnight. Locals locked doors that had stayed open for decades. Parents refused to let kids walk alone. Schools held safety meetings. Investigators told the town to remain vigilant. The killer might be among them. And he was. But nobody knew it yet. Over the years, investigators dropped hints without explanation, words like signature, staging, complex crime scene. They said the killer left behind elements that were not typical, but they never revealed what those were. Some speculated the crime was more brutal than the public realized. Others thought the scene included symbolic messages. A few believed the killer tried to relocate the bodies. The truth is still hidden. For 5 years, nothing happened. And then, in October 2022, the quiet broke. Police arrested a man named Richard Allen, a 50-year-old CVS pharmacy worker who lived minutes from the trail. He wasn't a drifter. He wasn't an outsider. He was a local, someone many residents had seen countless times. Investigators said he admitted being on the bridge that day. They said a bullet found near the girls matched a gun owned by Allen. They said he couldn't explain why. And yet, he maintains he's innocent. The case became even stranger when Allen's lawyers claimed he was being framed by a violent prison gang, a claim that sparked even more chaos. The trial still hasn't given the families closure. Even now, major questions remain unanswered. Why were 2 sketches released? Why did investigators say earlier sketch was no longer relevant, then later say it was relevant? Was the killer alone? What was the condition of the bodies? What exactly happened in those woods? And what's on the unreleased parts of Libby's video? Police say the case is strong, but the secrecy fuels endless speculation. What people sometimes forget in the swirl of theories is this. Abby and Libby were brave, especially Liberty, whose quick thinking provided investigators with the only direct evidence of the killer. Her recording changed everything. It forced the killer into the light. It prevented the case from going cold. It kept the community fighting. Her final act was one of courage and instinct, a moment that may solve the case completely once the final pieces fall into place. Walk across the Monon High Bridge now, and it feels different. Quiet, heavy, like the air remembers. Some locals say they still avoid it. Others visit to leave flowers. Tourists come from across the country just to stand where the girls once stood. And every year on February 13th, the town gathers. They light candles. They speak their names. Abigail Williams, Liberty German. They promise they will not be forgotten. The Delphi murders aren't just a mystery. They're a wound, one that hasn't healed, one that won't, until every secret hidden in those woods is brought into the light somewhere behind those few seconds of video. Behind that steady voice saying, "Down the hill." Behind that ordinary-looking man on an old railroad bridge lies the truth of what happened to Abby and Libby, a truth the world is still waiting to hear. The Delphi murders, justice still awaits.